Barbie has long been the most popular doll in the world. She has branched out into direct-to-DVD movies and even made appearances in a couple of Toy Story movies. More recently, she has become the subject of her very own major Hollywood film called Barbie the Movie. As you watch that one, I'd like to remind you about the real origins of Barbie that Mattel has long tried to hide, but every bit of this is true. The story begins in Europe just a few years after the end of World War II. Germany had literally been split into two separate countries, East Germany and West Germany, and both Germanys were trying to emerge from the wreckage of both the war and Adolf Hitler's Nazi regime. It was during this time that a West German tabloid paper known as Bild had hired a cartoonist named Reinhard Buthian, and he was tasked with coming up with a filler cartoon for an upcoming issue. He initially drew an unruly baby, but his editor rejected it. Buthian then adapted his original baby drawing into a sexy blonde-haired curvy woman whom he named Lily. The cartoon was published and Lily became an immediate sensation. Lily was depicted as a single woman who judged the quality of men based solely on the size of their wallets and bank accounts. She frequently used her sexuality to woo men into dating her and giving her money, clothes, trinkets, and other stuff. She was usually depicted as wearing very sexy outfits. By today's standards, Lily would be considered as a greedy, materialistic, shallow person who gets what she wants by frequently whoring herself out to men. But the comic strip was published back when West Germany's economy hadn't fully recovered from the war. There were no guarantees of finding stable work that paid very well, so Lily's quest, focusing more on economic stability and obtaining nice things by any means necessary and less on finding true love, really resonated with a lot of people. Needless to say, Lily was definitely not for children. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world in California, Ruth Handler and her husband Elliot Handler were running their toy company Mattel. It was in an era when most toy manufacturers tend to sell either baby dolls or fashion dolls that have flat chests and little girl faces, which provided not so subtle hints that a girl's main future was to become a wife and mother. Ruth Handler noticed that her daughter Barbara and her friends preferred to play with paper dolls over the baby and child dolls, and these paper dolls tended to resemble teens and adults more than their three-dimensional doll counterparts. Ruth Handler realized that Barbara and her friends were using the paper dolls to imagine a future other than becoming a housewife and mother, and there was an important niche in the market for a toy that allowed girls to do just that. Ruth suggested the idea of creating a 3D adult body doll to her husband and Mattel's directors, but they were unenthusiastic about the idea. Back in West Germany, a year after Lily's debut in Bild, the newspaper had an idea of selling a doll based on the comic strip. The company contracted a toy company named O&M Hauser to create a 3D version of Lily. The new Bild Lily doll, which included her very own tiny copy of the Bild tabloid paper, was marketed to adults as a sexy novelty toy that was sold in bars, tobacco kiosks, and adult stores. The dolls were often given out as gag gifts at bachelor parties, birthdays, and other gift-giving events. The dolls were usually dangled from a car's rear-view mirror and similar places. The Bild Lily doll was a huge hit in Germany, and she began to be sold in other countries. The success of both the comic strip and doll led to a feature film, which was a comedy mystery titled Lily, ein Mädchen aus der Großstadt, whose title translated as Lily, a Girl from the Big City. When the Handlers went on a family trip to Switzerland with their two children, Barbara and Kenneth, Ruth Handler discovered the Bild Lily dolls in the stores, and she had a eureka moment. She bought a few Lily dolls to take with her back to the U.S. She studied those dolls, then began to design a new fashion doll that would be less overly sexual than Lily. The resulting doll had a new backstory where she is a wholesome teenage girl who worked as a fashion model, and she still lived with her parents. She was named Barbie after Ruth and Elliot Handler's daughter. The new Barbie dolls went on sale in the US, but despite her softer, more wholesome looks, sales were initially slow because many parents were leery about buying their children a doll that looked way too sexy with her big breasts and hourglass figure. Mattel decided on a strategy of marketing directly to children by airing Barbie ads on TV during episodes of the Mickey Mouse Club. This led children to beg their parents to buy them a Barbie doll. Many parents began to relent and go to the store to purchase that doll. O&M Hauser, the West German toy company responsible for the Build Lily dolls, was initially unaware of the new Barbie dolls until Mattel began to sell them in Europe. That was when O&M Hauser felt that Barbie bore a close resemblance to Lily. There were lawsuits over the issue, but they were eventually settled. Mattel ultimately purchased the rights and patents to the Build Lily dolls, which led to those dolls going out of production. Today, a Build Lily doll in good condition will fetch thousands of dollars. As for the original Lily comic strip that started it all, Build eventually discontinued it in 1961 after a 9-year run. Reinhard Büthien went on to draw 2 other comic strip series for other publications that were similar to Lily, but neither ever became as popular as Lily. A few years after Barbie's debut, her boyfriend was introduced to the general public, which further made Barbie less like the very sexual, man-chasing Lily. The new boyfriend was named Ken after Ruth and Elliot Handler's son, and the rest is history. That's it for the Barbie history that Mattel doesn't want you to know about. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, and comment. If you want to see more videos from me, hit the subscribe button. Auf Wiedersehen!